so long this country's mecca of the main event. It is and always has been at the crossroads of superstardom. A walk down its halls recalls a nation's passion.
Ward taken, Ward against close. Here's Ward right, and he shoots, he scores!
The echoes of the king still resonate. The crown princes of rock and roll. George Chavallo, a pretender to boxing's throne.
Used to call Chavallo the washerwoman and never particularly wanted to fight George Chavallo because of his style.
Now the curtain goes up on another game in this regal arena known simply as the Gardens. It is the house that Conn Smythe built in 1931. For 62 years, Maple Leaf Gardens in the heart of downtown Toronto has been a showcase for the very best in Canadian sport. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge. Scott Russell along with Alfie Schlegel. Alfie, no question, this is the most important gymnastics gathering in this country in more than a decade. And you know what it's all about, what it's like to compete here under the lights at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Well, Scott, this building certainly holds special meaning for me. It was just 17 years ago when I competed in my first international gymnastic event. I arrived 3 hours before the start of the competition just to absorb the size of this building. It's been long overdue, but it's certainly great to have world-class gymnastics back in this country.
The headliner for this event is 21-year-old Vitaly Sherbo of Belarus, 6 gold medals at the Olympic Games in Barcelona. He is the world champion, and what a coup to get him in Toronto.
Great compliment to the city of Toronto. In my mind, Scott, Vitaly Sherbo is unquestionably the most gifted gymnast the sport has ever seen, not to mention a real character.
Plenty of international experience out there. Canada's Stella Ume will get a chance to challenge the world's best, this time in her own backyard.
Well, sometimes athletes feel a little extra pressure when they're competing at home, but that's certainly not the case for Stella. You know, she's most looking forward to finally competing on home turf. Huge year for Stella. She's looking forward to winning the Commonwealth Games next year, and this is where it all begins for her.
We must mention this is an all-around competition. We will crown both a men's and women's champion this afternoon. The women compete on 4 apparatus: the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam requires a generous amount of concentration. Perhaps the favorite for the crowd is the floor exercise. The men must challenge 6 events: the pommel horse, the rings. Yuri Keki of Italy is the world champion there. The men also vault, take on the parallel bars and the high bar. But let's begin the World Gymnastics Challenge with the men's floor exercise.
From Italy,
Yuri Keki of Prato, Italy, 24 years old. Alfie should be one of the favorite performers here in Toronto. A gold medal in the rings at the 1993 World Championships in Birmingham, England. The first ever championship medal for an Italian, and he's a national hero in his country.
Scott, no question, Sherbo is the big name here at the Gardens, but this guy can certainly give him a run for his money. He almost beat him at the World University Games this summer. Keki opened up very strongly with a double layout, just one small hop. Good recovery. Now we're going to see a lot more of front tumbling on floor exercise. That's with the new changes in the code of points. And this is just a tease of what is yet to come. This guy is full of strength.
The crowd appreciates the tremendous upper body strength of Yuri Keki. You know, he may have some trouble with the floor exercise, some of these routines, because he's coming off an Achilles tendon injury, which kept him out of the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona.
No question, one of the most serious types of injuries that athletes can suffer in this particular sport, and it's just great to see him back. He did miss the Barcelona Olympics, but he's right back on track, and he's looking very good in this exercise. Just one final tumbling pass, just completing his balance element. Double back summy for Yuri Keki, a small hop. Perhaps as a result of that injury, Scott, he still can't absorb the landings.
Yuri Keki, a silver medal at the World University Games in Buffalo, New York this summer. Here's another look at the routine.
Great overhead shot of his opening tumbling run, double layout, fully stretched. You can see a little bit of over-rotation on his part, but he recovered quite well.
The first score for Yuri Keki, a 9.2. The start value there, Alfie, a 9.6, so he scored well in the floor routine.
From the United States.
Now onto the mat is the American competitor in this 7-gymnast field, Cheney Humphrey of Albuquerque, New Mexico, a silver medalist at the all-around 1993 American Championships. His brother Greg also competes for UCLA's gymnastics team. Again, a gymnast, Alfie, with tremendous upper body strength.
Upper body strength and incredible power. Cheney just opened up with the same tumbling pass as Yuri Keki did, the double layout. Now fulfilling a strength and flexibility requirement back-to-back. Let's keep in mind at the end of each exercise, we'll see a start value. That is the maximum score that this exercise can score out of. Cheney, just a little bit of a form deduction, not quite as neat as he should have been in that front tumbling run right there. Very unusual skill. It's got an aerial cartwheel. We see the women perform those skills on floor exercise and the balance beam.
Cheney Humphrey now preparing for his final tumbling pass, a student of physiology at the University of California at Los Angeles, coached by Art Sherlock.
Almost no run whatsoever into this final tumbling pass. I wasn't quite sure he was going to pull that around. A full twisting double back.
23-year-old Cheney Humphrey of the United States.
Let's take a look at his opening tumbling run. Only 3 steps into this exercise, a double layout, full stretch position, recovers well on that tumbling pass. Again, just what I saw throughout the routine were small form errors that he will be deducted on.
He awaits the score now, and that is Art Sherlock standing beside him here at the sidelines. Maple Leaf Gardens, a 9.2 for Cheney Humphrey, so that ties the score of Yuri Keki. Start value of 9.5, so Elfie, he was working out of last, but scored the same. Now, Vitaly Sherbo, the world champion from Birmingham in 1993, 6 gold medals in Barcelona. This guy has been unbeatable. He has not lost since the Olympic Games, a space of more than a year and a half.
Unbelievable, Scott. That was a double twisting, double layout, the same move that Yuri and Cheney performed, but Sherbo added 2 twists. Right off the top, you're going to see this difficulty level of this routine go up a few notches. He is untouchable on this exercise.
"21 years old, born in Minsk, Belarus. Vitaly Sherbo, a tremendous world champion, had a difficult time of it lately, particularly with associations in his native country. They're trying to abscond many of the funds that he earns while touring internationally, but still, he said before this meet that he would focus only on competing.
And Scott, his full attention has certainly been on this exercise, ending the exercise very strongly with a double layout. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get 2 layouts and 2 twists in such a short period of time with 3 steps, and Sherbo nails it. And then he ends his routine with a double layout, the same move that Yuri Keki and Cheney Humphrey opened their exercise with. Lots of power, lots of difficulty, incredible.
Sherbo, with a great deal of trepidation before the meet, spent a week in Toronto preparing, and a good start, 9.65. The difference there, Alfie, the start value, 9.9. He was working from a good base. And now Rob Doyle of Canada, born in Montreal, now competes in Burlington, Ontario for the Burlington Bee Gees, 7th on the high bar at the 1992 Worlds in Paris. This is a guy with a great deal of potential.
And Paris was a very long time ago for Rob Doyle. He certainly had a few injury problems. Just slightly out of bounds there, that will be a small deduction. Rob, of course, trying to get back on track, back into the international scene, and what a great place to start here at the Gardens. Of course, Rob's claim to fame was the 92 Worlds that you mentioned, the high bar. But he's working very well on floor exercise, seems to be putting everything together, completing his strength skill. Again, a lot of front tumbling, which is new, a new introduction on men's floor exercise. Front full. He's very neat, very clean. He has nice lines. I think one of Rob's greatest assets is his consistency. He does tend to perform very well in competition.
An engineering student at McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario.
Double twist, punch front to end his exercise, a small hop, a very respectable job.
And so the bad back that kept Rob Doyle out of the 1993 World Championships seems not to have bothered him too much here in Toronto.
Here's that slight out of bounds in his opening tumbling run. You can see once your foot is over that white line, it is a 10th deduction.
And here's the score for Rob Doyle, a 9.05. He was working from a start value of 9.5, so not a bad score for Rob Doyle of Canada to start, but Vitaly Sherbo, a 9.65, leads the way after the men's floor exercise. Up next is the World Gymnastics Challenge from Maple Leaf Gardens continues as the women's vault. 7 of the world's best hope to get off to a soaring start. She was the darling of the Los Angeles Games, Mary Lou Retton, an American all-around champion. It was a script fitting for an Olympics in Hollywood's own backyard. We'll return in just a moment. We are back at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens as the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge continues, and joining me now is Natasha Rajowski, the president of SoapBerry Shop Limited. Natasha, your company, in making this commitment to this sport at this time, is really doing a great deal for Canadian gymnastics.
Thank you. We're very proud to be the title sponsors of the Gymnastics Challenge this evening. I think we've got tremendously talented athletes here tonight, and I think they'll be a great inspiration for all the young athletes across Canada. We're very excited. Thank you.
No question, Maple Leaf Gardens playing host to one of the great gymnastics competitions that this country has seen in quite a while. Dave and Patsy Ume, of course, in attendance, and they are the parents of Canadian champion Stella Ume. And I'll tell you what, Alfie, Patsy Ume is always there whenever Stella competes.
Scott, she is always sweating it out, isn't she? But she's been through many, many international events with Stella. This is great for Stella to be starting on one of her strongest events, the vault. Beautifully done, Yurchenko full twist. Now the start value on that vault is only out of a 9.8. That's the maximum she can receive. Great height. Look at the distance, but a little too much oomph on Stella's part. A one hop on the landing.
9.675 for Stella Ume. The start value a 9.8. So not a bad score for Stella as she gets the most out of that vault. Here is Elena Paskoun of Belarus, the world champion in the vault at the Birmingham World Championships earlier this year, only 15 years old.
Keep your eye on this one. Boy, she vaults. It's very, very quick. 2 twists. A double twisting Yurchenko. What I'm so happy to see now following the Olympic Games is they've now rewarded this vault with a 10.0. She's getting maximum value. Double twist, just a little bit low on her landing, Scott, but boy, that's one tough vault.
9.737. Again, Alfie, as you mentioned, the start value 10 makes all the difference in the world for Elena Paskoun. She believes that she can be an all-around world champion in the not-too-distant future, but she'll have to compete against Gina Gojan of Romania, second at the World Championships in Birmingham. She, too, very confident, but also very young, 16 years old.
This little lady has a lot of style, a lot of poise. She's very neat and clean in her work. A full twisting Yurchenko. Boy, did she take advantage of this vault. She's going to try to max out on the 9.8 start value. Here's a side look, just a little bit loose in the legs off the top. But Scott, she nails the landing beautifully.
9.775. 9.8 was all that was possible. It doesn't get much better than that for Gina Gojan. Now from the United States is Kim Arnold, a native of St. Louis, Missouri, a bronze medal in the vault at the 1993 American Championships, and a real different body type here, Alfie. Lots of power.
And she certainly has the build for this event, Scott. You'll see why she won the bronze medal at the championships. Absolutely gorgeous. That vault doesn't get any better than that. She should be extremely pleased with this. Super height, wonderful execution. She nails the landing. The vault is out of a 9.8, and a 9.562 in my mind is far too low.
So an interesting result for Kim Arnold of the United States. You're now looking at Tatiana Lysenko of the Ukraine, one of the best gymnasts in women's competition today. Bronze medal all around at the 1993 World Championship. She also won a bronze at the Olympic Games in this event.
Tatiana, a veteran of this sport. You can see she's using all that experience from the Olympics and World Championships. This vault is actually quite simple for her. A full twist in Yurchenko, the start value 9.8. She executes it well in the air and fights for that landing.
A very accomplished gymnast, gold medal at the World University Games in Buffalo, 9.675 with a start value of 9.8. And so here's how the standings look after one event for the women. Gina Gojan of Romania leads. Great result for her in the vault, 9.775. Back to the men's competition, and Italy's Yuri Keki, world championship gold on the rings, but after an Achilles tendon injury, he's wondering if an all-around championship is possible.
After my injury in Achilles tendon, for me, two operators like vault and floor, where the legs are very, very important, for me now is a problem. And so now I can think about good results in all round and all in four operators. But maybe 1 year later, maybe I can do well.
The first competitor from Italy.
Well, Alfie, Yuri Keki heading into the pommel horse is in second position behind Vitaly Sherbo. A surprisingly good result for him on the floor given the injury, but this is one of his events. This requires upper body strength, and he has it.
Oh, certainly. He's well within reach. And Scott, right now at this point in his career, he has to take full advantage of all the upper body events, which there are 4 in men's gymnastics. The floor exercise will come in due time, and he did a respectable job in the competition so far. Looking great, doing some double leg circles. This event goes by so quickly. Here are his required scissors. Very difficult to get a start value out of 10.0 on this apparatus today. Great routine, Scott. He's well on his way.
A nice clean routine for Yuri Keki of Italy.
The world champion on this apparatus, Pai Gil-soo of Korea, is probably the only one in the world who has a start value of 10.0. But Yuri Keki's routine was great. He has to be pleased.
Yuri and his coach Bruno Francischetti look over a 9.4, and out of 9.6, Alfie, that's a very good score. Vitaly Sherbo now has a little bit of pressure from his Italian rival. But again, this is a very strong event for Vitaly Sherbo, the world champion.
You know, Sherbo is attempting some new skills in this competition, and this first part of his pommel routine is brand new. No problems whatsoever so far. You know, that's impressive because, whoa, that you don't see too often. It almost looked like he gave up. We'll get another look at it right here. Some double leg circles. He's moving back to the center. It just looked like he lost strength, lapse of something mental, I'm not sure, but he got over the difficult part. And oftentimes we'll see athletes give up on the easier parts of their routine. Very unfortunate. Of course, he has to get back onto the apparatus, start where he left off. As I was saying before, it's very difficult. He's been touring for 7 weeks in the United States. He really hasn't had a chance to upgrade his routines, but he decided this was the place that he needed to make the start before the season. Has to be awfully disappointed.
Sherbo did get back up on the horse, but that fall, Alfie, is really going to hurt his score.
It's devastating, especially to an athlete like Vitaly Sherbo. You just do not expect the Olympic champion, the world champion, to falter.
8.70.
There it is, 8.7. Very, very disappointing for Vitaly Sherbo. And now our first look at Richard Aikita of Abbotsford, British Columbia. Born in Kamloops, BC, he competes for the Twisters, and perhaps this could be the heir apparent to the great Curtis Hibbert of Canada. A very strong gymnast, very graceful.
Very graceful on this apparatus, Scott. Richard has all the lines. Look at the speed in his work right here. Very impressive. Working backwards down the length of the pommel horse. This is the event where he can certainly rack up some great scores. A little struggle going on right here at the end of his routine. He's having to muscle up. This is unfortunate. He was so close to the end of his pommel horse routine, Scott. But nice to see him carry on. I think that's what I was most impressed with. He could have lost it right there, but he continued on and finished his routine. Now his start value is only 9.5, but you can see the potential to score is there.
He did not score, though. 8.95 for Richard Aikita of Canada. Here's how it looks after two events on the men's side. Yuri Keki of Italy has taken over the lead. Vitaly Sherbo of Belarus, the world champion, now in third position. Shi Ying of China making her final preparations for the women on even bars. This apparatus recalls gymnastic greatness. The Montreal Olympics and Nadia Comaneci of Romania earned the name Little Miss Perfect. On her way to multiple gold, she earned 7 perfect 10s. It had never been done before. We'll return in a moment. Welcome back to the World Gymnastics Challenge in Toronto. An interesting time for this international group and a rare opportunity for Canadian champion Stella Ume to enjoy the spotlight in her own country. Kim Arnold and Cheney Humphrey of the United States, not far from home, are competing in a familiar cultural setting. For Great Britain's Paul Bowler, a trip to Canada has its advantages. Gina Gojin, the World Championship silver medalist, has found little time for rest in North America. Italy's Yuri Keki is easily at home, where image can mean a great deal.
That's for your hair, Yuri.
Shi Ying of China is taking it all in, and in spite of the language barrier, she's translating a trip to North America into the time of her life. And here is 17-year-old Shi Ying of China, fourth in the team event at the Barcelona Olympic Games, a silver medal on the bars at the 1991 China Cup International. And Alfie, the Chinese are always very strong in international competition.
Oh, by far, Scott. Traditionally, they own this apparatus, and you'll soon see why by their great form and execution, nice lines. This is a very characteristic skill right here that she is performing into her release element. Of course, the women are required to use the low bar. It seems to be that women's uneven bars is beginning to look more like men's high bar these days. Again, a repeat of the same element, inverted giant work. Her second release skill. Swinging very well, great difficulty, but a very simple dismount, just a double tuck flyaway. This is just amazing, not to mention very, very difficult on the shoulders. Inverted giants into a release skill, moving back down to the low bar. Now, she had 2 release skills in her routine, and that is very common at this level of competition.
I wonder if the elements were there for a good score. 9.675 for Shi Ying of China. Canada's Stella Ume is next, embarking on a quest for Commonwealth gold this coming summer in Victoria.
I think this is, starting out with this meet, it's a good stepping stone for the rest of the year. Starting out at home and starting out in such a strong field right from the start, it'll be good for my confidence for the rest of the year, providing I do well. So I'm just, it excites me to go out there and just, you know, compete against everybody who I've competed against, gone to their countries and in mine.
Stella's always a character, Alfie. Talked to her before this competition, and she talked about a little nervousness. In fact, she said, I don't feel very well, but that in many ways is Stella's way.
I think you're absolutely right. That is Stella's way, and certainly by her performance on the vault, she's off to a great start. I'm going to say this again. Her uneven bars is probably one of the events that has most improved in Stella's gymnastics. She has 2 release skills planned so far, doing a wonderful job. Her execution is right on. Timing is perfect. Again, there's the second release skill. You can see Coach Alex Bard just in for a little security. Here's Stella's dismount, double twist, nails it. A beautiful, absolutely beautiful routine. It doesn't get any better than that. There's her release skill, a Tkachev. Timing was right on. I am so impressed with this routine, and take a look right here. Her legs are glued together, her timing on, she just nails the dismount. It all came together for her.
The crowd loved the routine. They'll love this. 9.775 at a start value of 10. Congratulations from one of her coaches, Svetlana Dakteva. Up next, Gina Gojin of Romania, on the verge of international greatness. She comes here to Maple Leaf Gardens with uncomplicated goals.
Concurez pentru spectatori la demonstrație și, primul rând, să fac un concurs bun.
And you know what, Alfie? We did see Gina Gaujean earlier smiled. She's got a great personality, but she is very focused on this event.
Absolutely focused. I think that's all part of the Romanian training, Scott. I think they do so many routines in their practice that their mind is simply on one thing, and that's their exercise. Having a terrific time on the uneven bars so far. Already performed her release skill. Coming up here for her second. Giant full twist right on top of the bar. You can see the coach in behind. That is allowed, by the way. Getting set. You can see just how far those bars are apart, cutting it very, very close on her dismount. A double layout, which is the most difficult dismount you can do in gymnastics. That's an E element, top of the line.
Will it be enough to catch Canada's Stella Ume, who posted 9.775? And no, it is not. 9.7. Start value the same as Stella's, out of a perfect 10. Now Tatiana Lysenko of the Ukraine.
In the past, Tatiana has had a lot of problems on the uneven bars. At the 91 World Championships, I remember in the event finals, missed out on a medal on this move right there. Absolutely no problems today. She's already performed 2 release skills, Scott, and she has a dynamite dismount set up. A double front with a half twist. A little bit low on the landing, but that is a difficult dismount. We'll get another look at it. Front giant into the double front with a half twist. Not a bad routine at all.
She talked about the difficulty for her after the breakup of the Soviet Union, particularly with this sport. 9.675 for Lysenko out of a start value of 9.9 in the uneven bars. So at the midway point in the women's competition, Gina Gaujean of Romania hangs on to the lead, but Stella Ume of Canada, with a 5 performance on the uneven bars, moves into second. So Stella Ume captures first place in the uneven bars, an encouraging sign as she embarks on the most important year of her young career. Munich and 17-year-old Olga Korbut, 7th in the all-around competition, #1 in the hearts of the fans. The world had never seen anything like her. We'll return to Toronto after this. Northlands, World Series MVP Paul Molitor in the crowd. Alfie, that's his daughter Blair. Paul tells us she's a very avid gymnast, and she likes to see this, the world champion Vitaly Sherbo, on the rings.
Sherbo certainly has to get himself back into the action here, Scott. As I said before, he is trying some new skills, which is great because the world is catching up to Vitaly Sherbo. Once you're an Olympic champion, you're always expected to win.
Sherbo currently in 3rd position behind Yuri Keki of Italy. In 2nd place is Cheney Humphrey of the United States, this after 2 events.
Obviously, the emphasis on this apparatus is strength. There will be a little bit of swing. And as you can see right here, he is encountering yet another problem, just a slight swing. Some cross ring action. Very unusual. Again, a little muscling up on that handstand. Not quite on track here. Again, problems in a second giant swing, but he's pulling it back. First dismount, full twisting double layout. And in fine Sherbo style, once again, he nails the landing. Very characteristic of Sherbo's work. There's his dismount once again. That was the best part of his routine.
9.5. Stick 9.34.
You know what he's doing right there? He's calculating his deductions.
And he doesn't like the score. He doesn't like the result. 9.15. Vitaly Sherbo won the gold medal in this event at the Barcelona Olympics. Now a big cheer for Rob Doyle of Canada as he gets onto the rings.
Very good event for Rob. Opening up strongly with an L cross, pulling back up, pressing up to a handstand. Now, the beginning part of his routine is strength. Working back down into a second L cross. You can see just how stressful this is on the body. Maintaining stillness, this is great. Now he'll start working into the swinging action, a front giant. A little bit of a body break there. Just his dismount left. Full twisting double tuck. Excellent job for Rob Doyle. Here's the one strength skill that was so impressive. Very even, nice and horizontal line.
Coached by Lauren Bobkin of the Burlington Bee Gees. 9.25 for Rob Doyle of Canada. Now, you're going to love this. Yuri Keki, the gold medalist on this apparatus at the 1993 World Championships, and they call him, Elfie, the ringmaster.
Okay, Scott, let's give him a 10. You know, you hate to commentate over a performance like this because it was simply awesome. He has everything that the judges are looking for. Enough strength for the entire competition.
The absolutely amazing Yuri Keki of Italy, start value of 10. He almost gets them all, 9.8, and he really likes that result on the ring. So at the midway point in the competition for the men, Yuri Keki has the lead, 28.4 points. Vitaly Sherbo, the world champion from Belarus, and Cheney Humphrey of the United States are now tied, 27.5.
And on parallel bars and high bar,
she was known simply as the Queen. Svetlana Boganskaya of the Soviet Union gleamed with gold at the 1990 European Championships. 5 gold medals in all, one of the sport's all-time greats. Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto and the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge. You're looking at the floor of the Gardens as we get ready for the second half of our competition, and you know it's always nice to work with a champion. For Elfie Schlegel, the beginnings were at York Memorial Gymnastics Club right here in Toronto. By her very expression, we should have known here was something special, and Elfie never failed to deliver. 1978 at the Commonwealth Games in Edmonton, she claimed team and individual all-around gold medals for Canada. It was the debut for gymnastics at these games. Elfie was a legend.
Oh, wasn't that nice? I mean, Scott, some great memories, and it's just nice to be still involved in the sport.
Elfie, a great moment for you here at Maple Leaf Gardens in 1980. You won the bronze medal in the World Cup, the first ever international medal for Canada in the sport of gymnastics. But right now, let's talk about a champion who's in a bit of trouble. Vitaly Sherbo, the Olympic champion, is currently second in the competition, the Yuri Keki of Italy.
Well, really not much of a surprise, Scott. I think the rest of the world is catching up to Vitaly Sherbo. And remember, this year at the World University Games, Keki almost beat Sherbo. We're just coming off the ring exercise where Keki is world champion, but what Sherbo is known for is not giving up.
An encouraging sign for the Canadian fans. Stella Ume is in second place behind Gina Gojan of Romania, and a real fight developing there.
Oh, this battle is going to go right to the very end. If you ask Stella, I'm sure she is not surprised at all. She's exactly where she wants to be, and quite simply, her gymnastics looks terrific.
All right, Elfie, still a long way to go. We're at the midway point of the competition. Right now, let's continue with the women's balance beam. There it is, Elfie, the beam, one of the most formidable obstacles in all of gymnastics, and this is Stella Ume, surprisingly, I suppose, in second place right now. This is a very strong field, but a very confident Stella Ume.
When Stella is on, she is on, and right off the top on a very difficult mount. A layout on the bounce beam, just a little bit of a balance break, but this is a huge line for Stella. Wonderfully done. Now she was right on that element. This is a new balance beam routine that is different from the national championships. Stella's planned a couple of extra new skills. There's one of them right there, and that of course is going to give her some of those most needed bonus points with the new introduction of the new code.
Talked about the difficulty of this apparatus, particularly in this setting with so many people in the stands. It's only 4 inches wide, the balance beam. Concentration so important.
It requires your full attention, full focus, and of course they train in settings in the gym with the music blaring and other athletes right beside them, so they're quite at home competing in this atmosphere. second new skill for Stella right here. Again, adding some extra bonus points. She seems just a little bit cautious. This routine isn't flowing as well as it normally does. Not quite sure for the reason. Sometimes Stella says that she's afraid to fall, but so far things look good. Just her dismount, double back, one step on the landing, but overall she's having a dynamite routine.
Second place after 2 apparatus. Stella Ume will have to score well to keep her position.
Extremely difficult tumbling pass right there. 4 skills in a row with 2 layouts, but she was dead on.
9-3-2-5 as she talks it over with Svetlana Dakteva. Stella always appears to be happy regardless of the score. Elena Paskun now of Belarus, and Alfie, watch this mount.
A blind front summy right into a jump skill. That's incredibly difficult, but this routine is just going to blow you away. She has so many difficult skills. Now that skill was first performed by Olga Corbett, but Elena Paskun adds a full twist, which makes it that much more difficult.
Only 15 years old. We had an interview with her before the competition in her native tongue of Russian. Tremendously confident, really believes that she will soon be the world champion.
Scott, she could very well become a world champion on this event. She has an element that she's getting set for right here that very few in this world can perform. A combination full twist on top of the balance beam. And again, you mentioned it's only 4 inches wide. There's not a whole lot of room for error. I'm extremely impressed with Paskun, her difficulty. She has more than enough. Just the dismount left. She's planning a double summy in a pike position. Wow, what a great exercise. Now on the side, you can see the balance beam, how narrow it is, and then on the right-hand side in the replay, that's our eye level, but I'll tell you, there's not a lot of room for error on skills like this, and they are top of the line, very, very difficult.
Nursing a bit of a headache, but a tremendous performance by Elena Paskun of Belarus, 9.75. The routine start value was 10, and she scored oh so well. Gina Gojan, the current leader at the midway point from Romania.
The Romanians have all but owned this event, and that dates back to Nadia Comaneci at the 1976 Olympic Games. I remember watching her there. She was picture perfect. Gina Gojan certainly carries on with that fine balance beam tradition.
You'll notice on her right ankle, Alfie, it's still bandaged. We saw that same ankle bandaged at the 1993 World Championships in Birmingham, and that was back in April. She's still nursing the injury, and this has to be tremendously difficult, the beating that the ankle will take.
Extremely difficult, maybe not so much on this apparatus, but certainly on the events like floor exercise where there's a lot of tumbling required, and also the vaulting. This is an athlete who is totally unfazed by the audience, by the media. She just focuses in on her routines, performs them beautifully. She has all the difficulty. Certainly one of the great Romanian gymnasts to have emerged since the Barcelona Olympics.
Very aware of the legacy of the great Nadia Comaneci. Hopes to follow in that kind of tradition.
A little different look to the dismount by Gina from the other competitors. A combination of back handsprings into a double tuck, and all in a day's work. No problems at all. We will get another look at it. Very square, shoulders and hips to the balance beam. Just a very, very small hop on her dismount.
Elena Paskun scored a 9.75, 9.725 for Gina Gojan. You can't tell from that reaction whether she's happy or not. Tatiana Lysenko now of Ukraine. A reminder, bronze medal at the World Championships in the all-around competition. A very accomplished gymnast.
And very accomplished on this apparatus. An easy opening for Tatiana, a layout on the balance beam, the same mount that Stella Ume used. 3 layouts in a row, just a little bit of a check there. Unbelievably difficult. We're seeing more and more of the female athletes on balance beam working in combination skills, skills that take them from one end of the balance beam right to the other. A blind landing, perfectly done. Of course, that will give her some extra bonus points. Boy, is she ever keeping up with the youth in this competition. You'd never know she's 18 years old.
In most cases, it's the Chinese and the Eastern Europeans who compete for top honors in the balance beam. No difference here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Tatiana Lysenko of Ukraine, an outstanding routine, but can she catch Elena Paskun of Belarus?
Just her dismount left, Scott. She planning to do a double summy. She'll have to stick the dismount. Whoa, this is going to be close. A fine, fine exercise, and she just puts a stamp on it on her dismount. Again, take a look at this skill. On the left of the screen, you can see the overhead version, and then your eye level on the right of the screen. You can't afford to be off at all. It's just 4 inches wide, folks.
The ultimate in precision. There's the score, 9.725. She ties Gina Gojan. Here are the results after the women's beam. Gina Gojan of Romania hangs on to the lead. Elena Paskun is next. Tatiana Lysenko is third. It is very close. The men's vault is next. You're watching the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge on CBC Sports. We are back at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Rotation number 4 for the men. And Cheney Humphrey of Albuquerque, New Mexico, currently tied for second with Vitaly Sherbo.
And of course, on this event, the men only get 1 shot at it, so they have to make it count. A Sukahara-style vault in a full twist position. I'm a little disappointed. A bit of form breaks in Cheney's vault. I expected him to be a little bit more powerful on this event.
Ian Art Sherlock talked it over. A 9.2. The start value, Elfie, only 9.5.
Yeah, that was mine. They gave you 2 more attempts.
And so now an opportunity for Vitaly Sherbo of Belarus, the reigning world champion, to break out. That familiar right arm goes up, the signal that Sherbo is ready.
Well, certainly this is an event where Sherbo can pull himself a little bit closer to Keki. He has probably the strongest vault in this competition. Yurchenko double twist, and look at him. He is a fighter through and through. This vault is out of a 9.8, and you can bet he's going to score as close to that as possible. In fact, the only deduction should be right there.
Determination on Sherbo's face. Alex Bard, 9.70 for Vitaly Sherbo. That's exactly what he needed. Now the current leader, Yuri Keki of Italy, talked about the fact that he's a great individual gymnast on the rings, but can he be an all-around champion?
You know, this event is going to take its toll on that Achilles, having some difficulty trying to stick that landing, but nevertheless, he gave away a few very important tenths right there. The vault was not bad. A little bit of a form break there. He bent his knees in order to get the rotation in, and you can see right there the judges are going to kill him on the landing.
A little bit of pain, perhaps that Achilles tendon hurting. Yuri Keki of Italy waiting for the score. 9.05. So now the door is open for Vitaly Sherbo. Our first look at Paul Bowler of Manchester, and he has high hopes for a breakthrough here in Toronto.
I'd really like to get a medal on the vault, whatever colour, you know, to take that back home, and so that people can see that Britain are on the map. Neil did it last year, and we've done it a little, or I've done it a little bit on vault this year, but just to put Britain on the map and to put the icing on the cake to all the hard work and training and things that's gone on, and really just thoroughly enjoy the trip, because at the moment I'm loving it.
Well, Paul mentioned Neil Thomas, his teammate from Great Britain. Neil won a silver medal on the floor routine in Birmingham at the World Championships. Let's see what Paul can do.
Thoroughly impressed with this athlete, Scott. A 1.5 twist, that's a blind landing. Boy, you have to be ready to absorb this landing. It's a real jolt to the body, but Paul does an excellent job at that. Great vaulter.
Paul Bowler on men's vaulting, 9.5.
Paul Bowler of Great Britain, 9.55, and he scores very well out of a start value of 9.8. And as we talked about, there's Yuri Keki nursing a bit of a pain, that in his left knee. After the men's vault, 4 rotations. Yuri Keki of Italy, 37.45. It's getting close. Vitaly Sherbo is next. And now rotation number 4 for the women. The final shot for Elena Paskun to catch Gina Gaujean, her goal to be a world champion.
В общем-то, это реально, возможно, но в гимнастике, я считаю, есть... Все допускают ошибки, и все может случиться в самый ответственный момент. Можно быть лидером и в последний же момент ошибиться и упустить это лидерство. Так что это не знаю как.
On women's floor exercise. From
He's certainly a charming athlete, but also one brimming with confidence and a real up-and-comer in this sport.
Elena was talking about how you can lose it all on the final tumbling pass. Absolutely incredible. She ends this routine in fine style, a triple twist. Scott, I can't tell you how much she has improved since she burst onto the scene last year. She is inching her way slowly to the top, and she is certainly a contender for the World Championships next year. Here's the combination tumbling, her opening tumbling pass, whipped through to a full twisting double pike. Very clean routine.
Elena Paskun has made her challenge to Gina Gaujean's lead, 9.750 in the floor routine, and that's an excellent score. So now Gina Gaujean gets her chance.
We talked about that ankle, certainly in Birmingham. She had a lot of problems, but it'll be interesting to see what type of tumbling she'll throw in this competition. Opening, extremely simple. Scott, because of the new code of points, it's jumps such as what Gina just performed that are allowing her to get the extra bonus points. So she may not be getting it in her tumbling, but she is making up for it in her choreography.
Crowd certainly with her here, Alfie.
Okay, a little bit more difficulty in the second tumbling pass, a whip through to double tuck. A little bit of a break right there. That will be noticed by the judges.
Very close women's competition. Gina Gaujean has to nail it here.
Certainly one of the more simple exercises for Gina. She will certainly be upgrading this difficulty towards the World Championships, but as we said before, that ankle has been hurting her some, and she was already ahead leading into this final apparatus. This was one of the difficulties in her routine. It's a front tumbling pass, which we've seen more of in women's gymnastics, like in men's floor exercise.
Day is done for Gina Gaujean. Start value of 10.9775. She scores extremely well. Tatiana Lysenko now of Ukraine, and her final pass here at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Take a look at this opening tumbling run. Arabian double front, and she even had a little energy to spare. Gina Gaujean, a very classical style. She carries it off extremely well. 2.5 twists into an immediate surprise punch front. She put it all together. In my mind, this should be the top routine so far.
Perhaps close to the end of her career, a very elegant Tatiana Lysenko.
Take a look at this tumbling pass. It's an Arabian double front. Again, a blind landing. Her timing has to be right on.
9.75. Strangely, her score lower than that of Gina Gaujean of Romania. Lisa Symes of Canada is next. This is her first chance to compete against the world's best.
It's really overwhelming. Like, you know, I can't really describe how it feels, because like I look at them and I've seen them on TV, and then all of a sudden I'm competing with them, and it kind of gives you a little bit of excitement, even if I won't be at, like, I don't have the name that they do, and it's just exciting to kind of be in the same place and going for the same thing that they are.
17 years old, from the Winstonettes, the same club as Laurie Strong, second at the Canadian Championships in Calgary.
Lisa said it best in her clip, that it's been an overwhelming experience to compete against the world's best, but she has been able to size up her talents with the best in the world. She has come through in the final apparatus with a very fine performance on the floor exercise.
Lisa scored well on the uneven bars, a 9.525 on the floor, and that has to be encouraging. The final results for the women: Gina Gaujean of Romania wins it. Pascun, Lysenko are next. Stella Ume of Canada, a very strong fourth. Olympic champion Vitaly Sherbo is still in the hunt on the men's side. World-class gymnastics continues from Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens right after this.
He's a machine.
The best in the world.
Vitaly Sherbo has lived a life missing the charm of his many championships. 6 gold medals at the Olympics, a world title. A realist for whom sport is not a game.
Gymnastics for me, it's my job. I got a salary in my country. I want to go to competition, exhibition. The first thought is to get some money for my future, for my family, to support my family.
He is from a republic known as Belarus. Times are tough. Sherbo's life here is less glamorous, more dangerous than it should be for a superstar.
The life in my country is so bad and so tough that I'm afraid about my family, about my daughter, and the relations about me, between me and sport committee and association. Again, so bad that I'm afraid that I can live there.
In North America alone, Sherbo has his distractions. He is becoming more familiar with this way of life, more at home, but always there is pressure. And the knowledge that greedy, controlling organizations overseas want to cash in on his success, to take a huge percentage of the money that he earns. For Vitaly Sherbo, it is the painful part of a joyous career.
They don't want to stop fighting with me. They want to fight with me, and I want to tell you that maybe the people will not see me ever in competition or exhibition. They will not enjoy my performance, maybe.
Well, Elfie, let's hope it's not the last time we see Vitaly Sherbo. He was very emotional when he gave that interview, very disturbed by what's happening in his home country. Focused now, however, in trying to get back into the lead.
And getting back into the lead is exactly his focus on this event, and he certainly can do it. At the end of this routine, he was so close after the 4th rotation, just slightly behind Yuri Keki. What a wonderful skill. Double front in between the parallel bars. This routine just simply moves. It's exact, it's precise. He has all the skills, and once again, he is determined to take the lead.
He knows it's a great performance.
Boy, does he know it, and he'll let you know it as well. Double front between the P-bars, a very, very difficult skill, not to mention on the upper arms.
He's with Alex Bard, who has coached him here in Canada. Alex is the coach of Stella Ume, and the score is a 9.55 for Vitaly Sherbo. We have not seen Zhang Jingzhen of China before. Very young, the youngest competitor in the field here, only 16 years old.
Unbelievable. The Chinese have sent such a young and fairly inexperienced athlete. But this is certainly one of his greatest events. He has a wonderful skill he's planning, a double back. Of course, right there it is, an incredible move. You saw Sherbo perform the double front. These are some of the skills that the men are performing on the P-bars these days, as well as the handstand work, 2 heely turns there. One thing I've noticed about Zhang is wonderful lines, nice body form throughout the routine, and his dismount, and he gave it away. One step, such an incredible routine going, but he will take deductions on the dismount. Again, here's that double back between the parallel bars. Outstanding skill. A little crazy, but great.
Tremendously elegant Zhang Jingzhen of China. 9.5, the start value was a 10, a very difficult routine. And now Yuri Keki, who is being challenged by the world champion Vitaly Sherbo, has a chance to retain the lead.
He is so focused and very determined. I think that was certainly one of his goals here in Toronto. Wonderful move, the same type of skill we saw from Zhang, but this time Keki performed it in a double pike position. What I was saying earlier is, I know he wants to beat Sherbo. He wants to beat him badly. He came so close this summer at the World University Games, and now's his chance with just 2 events left. So far, so good for Yuri. What you'll find, though, is the difficulty of this routine will not compare to Sherbo, and then again, he gave it away on the dismount, losing valuable points. Scott, take a look at this move. It's the double front in the pike position.
Score for Yuri Keki.
Great exercise.
Now this gets very close. 9.1 for Yuri Keki of Italy. He is in a battle with world champion Vitaly Scherbo. After the men's parallel bars, Scherbo has taken the lead, but only slightly, over Yuri Keki of Italy. Cheney Humphrey of the U.S. is next. Rob Doyle of Canada warming up for the final event of the challenge, the men's high bar. In Seoul, Vladimir Artemov was sensational. The Soviet soared to 4 gold medals, a shining moment at the South Korean Games. Artemov put his stamp on gymnastics history. We're back at the Gardens in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have...
We're back at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge. Curtis Hibbert, the great Curtis Hibbert, silver medal in the high bar at the 1987 Worlds. Rob Doyle was 7th in the high bar at the 1992 Worlds in Paris, a landmark for him.
That was really important for me because that's the first time I'd ever made a final of the World Championships or any meet that big. Then the judges get to know you, and you know it helps for next time when you go out and compete.
Well, Alfie, the 6th and final rotation, our last chance to look at Rob Doyle, but he's had a very encouraging competition.
Great competition so far, and ending it off on his strongest apparatus, as we've mentioned, 7th at the Worlds in Paris. He should feel right at home on this event. Getting set for a release skill out of a one arm. He has another one planned, the same style, one-arm giant work right here. Into a second ginger. Beautifully performed. Great dismount. Yep, Rob Doyle has done it again. A super high bar routine. Not showing much emotion there, but he has to be pleased. He looks great on this event, Scott. Long lines, lots of height. He just soars in the air on that release skill.
And showing few signs of the back injury which threatened his career. 9.55 for Rob Doyle on the high bar. Has to be very happy with that result. And we talked about the encouraging competition for Rob. Richard Aikita has fallen a bit below expectations. Twice the winner of Elite Canada. Touted as the successor to Curtis Hibbert, he has to hit one here.
He's a very quiet athlete. I think he might be a little bit intimidated by the talent around him. He shouldn't be, however. He has a lot of talent himself, a lot going for him. Certainly this is a great apparatus. Tkachev into a double Tkachev. Very strong opening right there. And his dismount, full twisting double layout, and he fights to stick the landing. I'd say that was his best performance of the evening.
I like the routine, Alfie. It was very tight.
There's his release skill in combination, 2 Tkachevs. Of course, at the world level today, we're seeing some of the athletes perform as many as 5 releases in a row.
Canadian strength on the high bar, 9.55 for Richard Aikita, and that matches the score of Rob Doyle. Now, an essential routine for Yuri Keki of Italy. Yuri trying to catch Vitaly Scherbo of Belarus and take away this championship.
Scott, if they both hit their high bar routines, Scherbo should come away as the winner. But Keki, don't count this guy out. He is determined, and he wants this title here in Toronto. One-arm giant work into his release skill. So far, all is going very well for Yuri Keki. Great originality. Just as dismount, a very simple double layout. He takes a huge hop on the landing, but look at that determination on his face. He's done all that he can do at this point. Very clean. He swung his routine extremely well. Boy, it's now up to Scherbo.
The ringmaster from Italy, Yuri Keki, 9.4. He scores well out of a start value of 9.6. The situation is this for Vitaly Scherbo. Anything above a 9.2, and he will win this championship.
And that certainly shouldn't be a problem for Scherbo. 9.2. Hey, this guy's used to scoring 9.8s. He has added a few new elements into his routine. The start has gone well so far, but he's going to be adding 3 release skills in combination. Here's his first. Now getting set for this very difficult release skill. I watched him in practice, and he peels off the bar. He is shocked. There's his first release skill. Well done, no problems there at all, but let's see if we can see what happened. I have a feeling it had to do with his right hand, his grip. It did, in fact. Scott, he just totally, in gymnastics, we say peeled off the bars. He had no hope of hanging on.
Alex Bard helps him back up on the bar. A startling development for Vitaly Sherbo. Can he recover to score well enough to get this championship?
What a shame it is, because everybody here at the Gardens knows who Vitaly Sherbo is. He ends very strongly, a double twisting double layout, one of the most difficult dismounts in the competition. And I'm sure they've been chanting his name throughout the competition. They all would like to see him stand on top of the podium, but he knows it. Look at those eyes.
Sherbo knows it's going to be very close, 9.0. And so Vitaly Sherbo has been defeated by Yuri Keki of Italy. And that is the first time that Sherbo has been beaten since the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. A very happy Yuri Keki is the all-around champion here in Toronto. There it is, Yuri Keki of Italy, 55.95 points. Vitaly Sherbo is second. Rob Doyle of Canada, a very strong fifth.
Go behind that end because they're doing a demonstration.
And Gina Gojan, as we mentioned, the all-around champion on the women's side for Romania. She withstood a challenge from Elena Pascun of Belarus. The SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge continues in a moment. Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto and the SoapBerry Shop World Gymnastics Challenge. Vitaly Sherbo, 6 gold medals at the Olympic Games, the world champion, and you go down to defeat for the first time since Barcelona. Tell us how you're feeling about the defeat.
How I'm feeling? It's very hard to explain this feeling. Of course, I'm very upset and very upset that it was not my fault. I don't know what's wrong with my grips with high bar, but you know, before high bar I thought that it will be okay, but you know, luck 10 off from me.
Yuri Keki, the all-around champion here in Toronto, and Yuri, has to be a great moment in your career. You knock off the world champion in Vitaly Sherbo, first time he's lost since Barcelona. How are you feeling about that and about your performance here?
Well, I'm very happy, normally very happy to have win this competition, because Vitaly Sherbo, you know, is the best gymnast now, and after and before Olympic Games nobody beat Vitaly Sherbo, so maybe I'm the first, and I'm so happy. It's like a dream for me. Yeah.
Gina, this was a very strong international field, and yet you came out the winner. You were very consistent throughout the competition. What allowed you to be victorious here in Toronto against this very difficult field?
M-am simțit foarte bine, m-a atras și publicul foarte mult, m-au încurajat foarte mult și este prima mea competiție de la Birmingham internațională, care până acum am fost accidentat.
After Birmingham, I was a little bit accidented. She had a little incident on her ankle. I was very encouraged by the crowd. I liked very much the crowd here in Toronto. It's my very first big competition after Birmingham. So everything here helped me to win.
An excited Stella Ume, 4th overall here at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Stella, you told me before the competition that you didn't feel that well. You sure looked good. You won the uneven bars. Tell us about your performance.
I felt really good going into bars. I was like, wow, because I was pretty scared for bars because I'd been screwing it up for weeks, and it just came out of nowhere, and I was really psyched.
What was it like to compete here at Maple Leaf Gardens? The crowd was obviously on your side. You could hear them all the way through, and you seemed to play to that.
I had a really awesome time playing to my friends, my family, because everybody was cheering and screaming, and I was like, oh, this is so riveting. I really like a lot of noise and crowd support, so it was a big help.
An important year for you, an important season as you build towards the Commonwealth Games. Do you take heart from this performance at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, this is a very important competition because it was my first meet of the year, and now I can build on what I want the rest of the year to go, or how I want it to go. And it was really important for me to compete at home and do as best as I possibly could.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, the best international gymnasts have come and gone. They're tearing down here at Maple Leaf Gardens, getting ready for hockey perhaps. But Alfie, this has been a landmark gymnastics meet for Canada. The best internationals here for the first time in more than a decade. It's also a watershed in another way. Vitaly Sherbo, the world champion, Olympic champion, goes down for the first time since Barcelona. But what's that mean in the big picture?
Well, what it means simply is a world champion and an Olympic champion can be beaten. Unfortunately, Vitaly Sherbo didn't want this to happen. If you think he's happy about it, he certainly is not. I think the world was waiting to see when his first defeat would happen, and unfortunately it happened here in Toronto. He's had some problems. He's been under the gun, problems with his federation. I think a little bit of that pressure came through this evening.
Gina Gojan of Romania wins the women's competition, but a great performance by Stella Ume. She really rose to the occasion.
Oh, she did. She rose to the occasion, and then Stella said she was looking forward to competing in front of the hometown crowd. She was in fine company, and she certainly did her job. She's determined to win the Commonwealth Games next year.
All right, Alfie, let's hope international gymnastics is back in Canada to stay. Coming up tonight on CBC, it's Molson Hockey Night in Canada. Pittsburgh and Montreal to face the Canadians. The Leafs at Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton to take on the Oilers. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's been an outstanding World Gymnastics Challenge for Alfie Schlegel. I'm Scott Russell saying so long from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.